For years, I paid every bill while my sister lived free. The one time I asked for help, Mom scoffed. "We're not here to serve you." So I quietly canceled everything and watched them beg at my door in tears. Hi, Reddit. This is a throwaway account because I know for a fact that at least one family member lurks around here. I just need to let it out. Maybe if I say it all, I'll finally stop pretending that I'm the one who's been cruel all along. I'm a 35, you can call me Callie. I've been the one holding everything together in my family since I was 19. That was the year my dad passed away suddenly, and everything changed overnight. My mom fell apart, emotionally and financially. And from that point on, it felt like I became the parent while she faded away. My younger sister, Ava, who's now 32, was always the golden child. The pretty one, the charming one, the one who somehow always slipped away from consequences. While Ava was busy jumping between failed business ventures and toxic relationships, I was working 2 jobs just to afford college. At first, I didn't mind. I loved them, and I honestly believed that we were all in this together. But over time, that sense of unity started to crumble, and my support slowly transformed from voluntary help into an expectation I couldn't escape. When Mom fell behind on her mortgage, I covered it without thinking twice. When Ava's car was repossessed, I was the one who bought her a used vehicle. If the fridge stopped working, I didn't get a call asking for advice. They called me already expecting I'd pay for a new one. There was no please, no thank you, no talk of repaying. Just a text saying, "Callie, we need this. Can you take care of it?" And like clockwork, I always did. The amounts added up. But what hurt more than the money was the way it became so normal for them, like I owed them something. Every month, I sent $600 toward Mom's mortgage, another $200 for Ava's car insurance and phone bill, plus random Venmo transfers, $100 here, $300 there. It became routine. My friends often told me I was being taken advantage of, that I was too generous for my own good. But I brushed it off. They're family, I'd say. Family looks out for each other. Then just last month, I got hit with a surprise dental bill, $4,200. I had been ignoring the problem for years, but the pain had finally become unbearable. I needed work done immediately. For the first time in a long while, I turned to my family for help. I asked my mom if she could just help me with $500, just enough to give me breathing room for the month. And she laughed. Not in a nervous way. Not because she misunderstood. It was a cold, genuine laugh followed by, "We're not here to serve you, Callie. You're the one with a good job." That night, I sat alone at my desk, looking at my budget spreadsheet, and something snapped inside me. Not out of rage, it was something clearer than that. It was a moment of sudden truth. I realized that for 15 years, I had been their emergency backup, their financial safety net, their emotional sponge. And the moment I needed them, the one time, I wasn't met with support or even empathy. I was met with disdain. That's when I made a quiet decision. I didn't announce anything. I didn't argue or scream. I just started unplugging everything I had built to hold them up. I canceled every recurring payment without saying a word. I stopped covering the mortgage. I disconnected the phone lines I had been paying for. I removed them from my Netflix, canceled my Amazon Prime that they used, shut down every auto transfer. I did it all in silence, no messages, no warnings. I was just done. 3 days later, my mother called, her voice clearly panicked. "My bank account's short," she said. "Did you send the money late this month?" I answered calmly, "No, Mom. I'm not sending it anymore." She went silent. "What do you mean?" she finally asked. "I mean I'm done," I replied. She hung up without another word. That same afternoon, Ava showed up at my front door. It was a Saturday, and she was standing there with her mascara smeared and an overnight bag in her hand, looking completely defeated. The same sister who once rolled her eyes at me for being too boring was now on my porch looking like a lost puppy. "Callie, I don't have anywhere else to go," she said, her voice barely holding it together. "They cut off my phone service. I couldn't even call an Uber." I didn't move. I didn't speak. "I know I haven't been great," she continued. "But come on, You can't just cut us off. That's harsh. I let her inside. Not because I forgave her. Not because I cared. But because I wanted to hear what she had to say when no one else was watching. She collapsed onto my couch and started crying. But this time, it wasn't the over-the-top performance I was used to seeing. These were exhausted, quiet tears. "Mom's going crazy," she whispered. She missed her mortgage payment. Thought it was a bank mistake. She called the bank, and they told her you canceled the auto transfer. She lost it, and now she's blaming me. I sat in silence. "Why would you do that, Callie?" she asked, sniffling. "You're the only one who has it together." I finally replied, "Exactly. I've been the only one who has it together for 15 years. And none of you ever thought about what that cost me. Not once." She looked genuinely stunned. "That's not true," she said weakly. "You've never even said thank you, Ava. Not for the car. Not for the years I paid your phone bill. Not for covering your messes. You just expected it like I was supposed to." She bit her lip. "I didn't ask you to do all that." "You didn't have to," I replied. That was the whole problem. She didn't say anything for a long time. Finally, she whispered, "What am I supposed to do now?" And I told her the truth, something I had never dared say out loud before. "I don't know, Ava. That's not my job anymore." She slept on my couch that night, not because I offered, but because she had no other option. I lay in my bed awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I let it go on for so long. In the morning, I made coffee. She didn't say much, just quietly left without a word. An hour later, my mom called again. But this time, she wasn't asking, she was demanding. "This is emotional abuse, Callie," she snapped. "You don't get to just walk away. You made a commitment. You owe us." I let out a bitter laugh. "You think this is abuse? What do you call 15 years of taking from me and never giving anything back?" She didn't respond. She just hung up. I started therapy that same week. I told my therapist that I felt guilty for choosing myself. She looked at me kindly and said, "That's not guilt. That's detoxing." And she was right, because what came next was the real storm. At first, it was just the cold silence. Then the guilt trips. Then the full-on attacks. Ava stopped texting. Mom blocked me on everything except email, which she used to send me a 5-paragraph monologue about how I had abandoned my duty as a daughter. She wrote that I had shamed the family name. I half expected her to sign it sincerely, or disappointed mother. But the worst part was the group chat, the extended family one. A chat that used to be full of baby pictures, dad jokes, and birthday greetings turned into a battlefield. First came the passive-aggressive comments. "Some people forget who raised them once they start earning a bit," said my aunt. "Wild how selfishness is just called boundaries now," added my uncle. Even my cousin, who still owed me $800, chimed in with, "This generation loves ghosting their own blood." They never used my name, but I knew exactly who they meant. Mom had been calling around, spinning her own version of the story, telling everyone that I was going through something, that I had lost my compassion, that she was so worried, but I was pushing everyone away. I sat at my desk and read every line like I was in court. I could practically hear my mom's voice. After everything we did for her, she had rewritten the whole story. She erased the years I went without so she could have a house. She forgot the birthdays I spent alone because Ava was busy. The time I had the flu and asked Mom to come by, and she said, "I'm tired, sweetie. Just order some soup." I was invisible until my absence cost them something. Then I became the villain. So I gave them one. I quietly left the group chat. No explanation. No di. Just gone. 2 days later, I got a call from my godmother when, one of the few people in the family who ever had my back. "I'm proud of you," she said. I nearly cried. "You don't owe them your life, Callie. You've done more than enough. Let them fall apart if they have to. You didn't create the chaos. You just stopped paying for it." And something clicked in me. She was right. They weren't falling apart because I betrayed them. They were falling apart because I finally stopped shielding them from the consequences of their own choices. And just when I thought it was over, they crossed a line I never saw coming. It started with an email from HR, subject, concern raised regarding conduct. My heart dropped. I opened it, and sure enough, someone had contacted my company anonymously accusing me of being emotionally unstable and abusing prescription medication. Completely false. I don't even take anything stronger than the occasional migraine pill. I scheduled a meeting with HR immediately. Thankfully, they know me. I've worked there for 9 years, no problems, multiple promotions. They weren't accusing me, but they had to log the complaint. I knew exactly who it was. No one outside my family knew where I worked. There were only 2 people angry enough, petty enough, and entitled enough to try to threaten my career, Mom or Ava. Maybe both. I didn't cry. I took action. I hired a lawyer who sent a cease and desist letter not just to my mom and Ava, but to every family member who had been whispering about me. We laid out everything: defamation, interference with employment, cyberstalking. No threats, just facts and legal language. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I wrote out my side of the story, every transfer, every payment, every favor, with dates, screenshots, and receipts. I sent it to everyone in that group chat. Subject: for the record. I didn't yell. I didn't attack. I just stated the truth, calmly, clearly, and without apology. Then I blocked every one of them. Every number. Every email. Every social account. Not out of anger, out of peace. Because here's the truth. They didn't break me. They revealed themselves. And I finally chose me. It's been 6 months now. The HR case was dismissed as baseless. I even got a raise last quarter. I moved to a new city and started fresh. Ava still sends the occasional "I'm sorry" text, which I ignore. Mom hasn't spoken a word since the legal letter. I go to therapy every week, not because I'm broken, but because I'm finally rebuilding my life, brick by brick, on my own terms. A life where love doesn't depend on sacrifice. So if you're reading this and you feel guilty for setting boundaries with a toxic family, let me tell you something. You're not cruel. You're not selfish. You're freeing yourself. And that's the most powerful thing you'll ever do. Hit that subscribe button for more true stories just like this one.